We're good. Oh, we are live.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, there we go.
Oh wow, the picture comes up real nice, I think.
All right, hi everybody. It's Don again. I'm here at the Rockhouse Hotel in Negril. We're on the west end of
Yeah.
Jamaica. I've been
Yeah.
here for 2.5 weeks now. Still got a week to go. So Jamaica is a big place, and there's a lot to see and a lot to do. And I've been really lucky to have Michael Grizzle here, who is a local Jamaican,
Yeah.
Rastafarian. I'd say a friend now.
Yeah, we have become. You can now call me Mikey.
Yeah, my buddy Mikey. We
Yeah.
have been traveling all over the place,
Yeah.
and he's been showing me a lot of, I think, a lot of great things that so many tourists miss. So I'm really looking forward to producing not just videos about the hotels here, and the hotel experiences have been world class, really, really good, but also like unique things to do, some wonderful cuisine. So yeah, this is going to be really fun when all these videos come out. But anyway, we're here today to answer some questions about what it's like to come to Jamaica and travel around and try to be helpful to folks who are thinking about planning a trip here. And I think it's just great we have a local resource to help give us some insider knowledge.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here. Some people emailed some questions, and so we're gonna like take those questions first, and as things pop into the chat, then we'll answer those as well. But so the first question that was emailed to us is here. I'm not sure what area I should stay in Jamaica. Is Montego Bay the best place for a beach holiday? So let's can I just try to orient everybody for a second? I mean, it's like we have been from the east end of the island all the way to the west end.
Yeah.
Right now we're in the west end,
On the North Shore.
the north shore as well. Right. We've been to Montego Bay. We've been to Ocho Rios, Port Antonio, and now we're in the Grill. We're not done. We still have other parts of Jamaica to cover. But like, how far would you say it's to drive from the west end to the east end? 4 hours, maybe 5 hours?
I would say let me see 2, 4, say 5.5.
Yeah.
Depending on road condition, you could always plan for 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Right, 6 hours from one end to the island to the other. So that's
because when we stayed in Port Antonio.
Yep.
And you have to go a little further to St. Thomas to actually be in the most eastern end of the island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now we are in Negril.
Right.
I think yes, we are in the west,
Yeah.
the most western end of the island.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 12 hours. If it's 6 hours from one end to the other, roughly 12 hours to drive around the island. So this is not a small place. It takes a minute to cover all the areas here. But anyway, the question is, what's the best place to stay? So let me try. Let me try to answer
From
this,
your perspective, Don.
The question was around Montego Bay, and I would say that would be the last area I would go in, only because to me it feels like that's where all the mega resorts are. It's kind of like, think about, it's like a cruise ship. Like the hotels are like as big as cruise ships, and it's the same kind of crowd, and it's just a cruise ship that doesn't move. It's like these all-inclusives. People don't leave the hotels, and I don't know. I don't think it's that interesting. What do you think?
I just think based on the question that if Montego Bay would be the best place for a beach holiday.
Yeah.
And from my perspective as a local, I'm always saying Negril is the beach place. I mean, Montego Bay only maybe have one major beach.
Yeah.
The Doctor's Cave Beach.
Yeah.
And like we went over to Winifred Beach in Port Antonio.
Yep.
And you'd have the Frenchman's Cove in Ocho Rios.
Yeah.
You would have the Turtle Beach. But I think Negril offer that 7 mile of beautiful white sand, not so deep, crystal water.
Yeah.
You know, so in my recommendation for a beach holiday, you know, I would still say yes, Negril would be for a beach.
Yep.
If you're a beach person,
Yeah.
you know, you could walk the 7 mile beach.
But Ocho Rios and Port Antonio also have beautiful beaches.
Have very beautiful beaches too.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just saying, you know, there's comparison.
Yeah,
Depends
totally.
on what you like.
Yep.
You know, what your viewers like. And I must say hi to your viewers. And I must say thank you guys for having me. Dan has been great. We
Not 95% of the time, I'm pretty good. Sometimes I get a little stressed out.
yeah, but he's doing. He's got his hands full with Jamaica. There's so much to see here, and you know he's been here for quite a while, and you know I just want to say hi to your viewers and everybody, and say come to Jamaica, man. No problem, man.
All right, so the next question in the chat is from Susan. Is Jamaica safe? How can I stay safe if I come? And I because I've talked to Michael about it, I've talked to a few other people about it. I think maybe one of the biggest misconceptions about Jamaica is it's not safe. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying there's danger everywhere you go, but I think it can be very safe if you're smart about it. So like, how do people make sure they have like a kind of a safe, restful holiday here?
Yeah, I mean, before we talked about it, Donna, I'm always giving 3 tips.
Yep.
Of staying safe in Jamaica. Don't wear too much jewelry. Mm-hmm. Go out find a good local guide to take you places if you want to go out of the hotels, and just be smart. Just gather some street smartness.
Yeah.
Don't go down back lanes with people.
Right.
And Jamaica, if everyone could read about Jamaica and understand that there's not much crime against tourists.
Yep.
Most of the crime in Jamaica is concentrated in communities.
Yep.
And it's more turf and within communities, not against tourists. So right. There's a big misconception about the safety in Jamaica. Yep. Just be smart, and just be, if you're coming to Jamaica and you can hook up with a very good local guide that can be recommended online. Mm-hmm. Don't just come and hook up with anybody.
Somebody like him.
Well, you could find me places too, but hook up with a very good local guide that you can see his recommendation online too.
And Michael, we can once the live stream, the live stream will be available after it's live, so people can watch this later, and we can put some contact information for you in the chat. So
that would be great. Yeah,
I can recommend this guy as a guy. He's been excellent to me, so I'm really, really appreciative. Yeah. All right, so let me. So here's another question that was emailed, and it's they're asking about an all-inclusive resort in Montego Bay, and which the best one, and. I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm going to be super honest here. If you want an all-inclusive resort, I don't think you should come to Jamaica, honestly, because I've checked some out. Because I think we've visited over 20 hotels now. So part of finding excellent hotels, you got to go visit a bunch. Checked out some of the all-inclusive resorts, and they really strike me as places where people don't leave. So they stay, and it's you've paid for all your food and your drinks, and so I can see why people want to stay and they want to have a good time, and that's cool. There's no judgment there. But if you're going to come and stay inside your resort, Jamaica to me is such a special place, and the people, the people are just I think really special. Mm-hmm. And if you're hanging out inside an all-inclusive resort and you never leave, you're not going to experience the real Jamaica.
Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna have you'll have locals who are waiting on you, but all they do is deal with foreigners all day, and they're probably a little bit jaded, and you're not going to see the real community here. And I think the most special thing to me about Jamaica is just how warm the people are, how friendly you guys are, how much you love life. Jamaica is there's an incredible music scene here. It's not just Bob Marley, right? This is, you may not understand how much fantastic music has been born here in Jamaica. So there's such a rich culture. And I think if you're staying in an all-inclusive, you're going to miss that. So my advice is, if you want to do something like that, go to Florida, or I don't know, go somewhere close to home. But if you're going to come to Jamaica, come really experience the place.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think too that
I don't have any strong opinions.
I think too that even if you come and you stay in the all-inclusive, don't let them school you, because the all-inclusive want you to stay inside the hotel, so they make everything every funds that they keep inside the hotel.
Yeah.
Still try to be adventurous and go outside of the walls. as I say, with a good, very good local guide, and experience some of the culture, experience some of the cuisine outside of the hotel, outside of the big buffets.
Yeah.
You know, eat some of the street food.
Yeah.
Meet some of the street people. You know, who is not going to pretend to say amen, and as you say, a little jaded.
Yeah.
You know, you know, Jamaican culture is you know, it's open. We are very vibrant people.
Totally.
So if you come out of the gate of the hotels and you see a Jamaican say, "Hey, come here, man," he's not being aggressive. He's more trying to be friendly. You know. Yeah. So you know, you could go anywhere in the world and stay in an all-inclusive hotel. Yeah. And never go out the walls.
Totally. Totally.
You know, so you know, you're coming to Jamaica and you just want to go in all-inclusive, as you were saying. Go anywhere else in the world because you're still inside a wall with people. But you're coming to Jamaica, try to experience the people, man.
Okay, so from your guest is super cool. Oh, well, yes, he is. It's just a comment in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm just kind of going through some of the questions here. We already are another question about safety. All right, how should I get around Jamaica? And do you have any tips for local transportation? We've talked about that quite a bit too. Yeah.
Kind of hard to explain to Don because I'm still saying I'm trying to explain to you about.
All right, let me see if I can summarize it because you told me like 10 times.
Yeah.
And so tell me if I got this right. There's something called something called Jutas, Juta.
Yeah.
Right? So Jutas is like the official cab for tourists.
Yeah, Juta, right? Jekyll, and Maxi.
Okay.
So there's three companies. Yeah.
He's told me like 10 times. I still don't get it. Okay.
Yeah, but I want to still tell you about the Juta. But it's the Juta is the main one.
Okay, Maxi, and what's the other one?
And that's Jekyll.
Right, and those are all like very safe.
Very safe.
Just for tourists.
Just for tourists.
They're gonna be comfortable. Yeah. And it's probably, but it's more expensive.
It's more expensive
than like a local taxi.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna take a local taxi, which is possible, which you can do as a tourist, but they stop a lot. They pick up a bunch of people, so you may be like with 7 other people in a small car. So if you're into that, that's cool. But it's gonna be like, would you say it's like 1/10 the price, half the price?
It's very minimal.
Yeah.
As you saw just at the Rockhouse here where we're staying.
Yeah.
When we drove in, that was a route taxi.
Yeah.
That the visitor chartered.
Right.
You know, we are seeing these 2 tourists going into a local taxi.
Yeah.
So the local taxi would also charge you still less than maybe the Juta.
Right.
To still
but more than a Jamaican.
But more than a Jamaican.
Yeah, right.
But if you go out on the street to just stop a local taxi, you're going to pay very, very minimal.
Okay.
Very, very minimal.
But if you're not going to take a Juta or a Maxi or what's the third one?
And the J car.
Oh, the J car. Okay. Make sure that the taxi has a red license plate and has an official kind of badge up in front with the driver's picture on it, because people will pretend to be real taxis and they're not. So this goes back to the question on safety. If you're going to take a local taxi, make sure it's got a red plate. There is and
the route that you're going on the side of the car.
What do you mean?
On the side of the car.
I still don't get it.
Yeah, on the local taxi.
Yeah.
They are called route taxis.
Route taxi.
So they stay in one area.
Right.
So if you're in Negril and you're going to Montego Bay, you couldn't take that local. You'd have to take multiple local taxis to get to Montego Bay.
Yeah.
But make sure, I mean, talk to your front desk receptions. Talk to people who you're staying with. Yeah. You know, that you can verify that they'll give you safe instruction. And they can help you. You know.
Okay. Here's a really fun question from somebody named Tigran, and I'm sorry I cannot pronounce the last name. But anyway, it says, what is the best beach in Jamaica for swimming? And I'm going to give you a non-answer. And then we can talk about beaches.
He jumped off the cliff.
But yeah, so we're at the Rockhouse, and then tomorrow I'm moving to some place called the Caves. But on the western end of Jamaica, it's not sandy. It's all like kind of cliffs and rocks. And it is maybe the funnest hotel experience I've ever had. Like there are like 10 places I jumped off like a bridge and like off these rocks into the ocean. And it's super clear and it's beautiful. And I thought I was kind of like, when I got here, I was like, oh, there's no beach. And I was like, I don't miss it for a second, because I think this has been super fun. We're going later today to a place called Rick's. It's one of the most famous places in Jamaica they do basically cliff diving and stuff up this bar. So there'll be videos about all that. So I'm just saying, like, if you're coming to Jamaica, consider the West End in Negril for like kind of this cliff experience, because I think it's super unique. It's just like nothing I've ever
Only
experienced.
place in Jamaica you get that.
Yeah, and I think it's very rare. I mean,
yeah.
I've been all over the world and I've never seen anything like this. So anyway, that's really cool. With that said, there is a very nice beach in Negril here called 7 Mile Beach, which I think is 4 miles long. It's not
7. Maybe not 7.
No, 7.
You walked it.
I flew my drone yesterday. I was like, this is not 7. And I asked somebody, and they I don't know. They said it's like 3 or 4. So
Yeah.
Anyway, 7 sounds better.
Mm-hmm.
It's long enough. Long enough for a nice walk. That's really nice. And in fact, I find there's something about the sea here that is just like not rough. It's like almost every like from the east end to the west end and everything in between. It's like the beaches have been really good. Jamaica Inn has a really nice beach. They stayed there. There's a place Round Hill, which is owned by Ralph Lauren. And there are going to be videos about all these hotels, but they have a super beautiful beach. Half Moon has a really nice beach. These are hotels just with great beaches. But we should mention that like most beaches in Jamaica are not public, right?
You have to pay to get in. Right. You know, like the Doctor's Cave in Montego Bay, or you know, I mean, in Negril here you would have a few free entrances,
right?
You know, but the beach is not free in Jamaica. But once you stay in the hotels, the beach are.
But if you're at the hotel, it's free. So anyway, lots of great beaches, and the water's just kind of beautiful. And in most places I've experienced, it's quite calm as well. Just kind of scrolling through the questions here. Is there anything you want to say to the folks at home while I'm looking at questions? All right. Well, here's one. Here's one for a Ross. So like. Is it fair to say that most Rastafarians are vegetarian? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is around, do you know any good vegan or vegetarian food spots in Jamaica? And it's like, yeah, the whole country, but I don't know if I don't know if we want to like start naming individual restaurants. I don't think
but I still think anywhere you go, you could get vegetarian food on the island.
Right.
You know, from the south coast to the north coast to the east to the west. You know. We spice a lot, you know, and for breakfast it's always callaloo, like a spinach, you know, with ackee. That's like the fruit. You know,
lots of interesting vegetarian options here, like in vegetables that you're not used to. I think, like you're talking about. I mean, it's like since the question's around food, let's talk about Jamaican cuisine for a second, because I think one of the things that surprised me, I don't know why it surprised me, but maybe this is my first time in Jamaica, so I didn't know a lot, but there's definitely, I think, a lot of spice in the food here, which I love. I mean, I'm married to an Indonesian by birth, so we eat a lot of really spicy food, and that's really good. But yeah, it's not like super spicy like some of the South Asian foods, but it's got a really nice level of spice that I love. But like jerk would be like the national dish. Like jerk, it's chicken and pork.
And those would have more spice because the sauce. It's a sauce that makes a jerk.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
And they make that jerk sauce with the Jamaican, one of the hottest, like habanero pepper, but we call it the Scotch bonnet pepper. And because Jamaica is so hot, this pepper is like flames, you know. But it has such a flavor, you know, that even sometimes you will smell the spice like it's high, like you'll think, oh, it's going to be burning, but it's just the spice of the scallion and the garlic and the Scotch bonnet that gives that flavor that when it's your palate, you realize that it's not unbearable.
It's not unbearable.
You know, it's
nice.
pretty elegant. Nice. But ask the chef too, not to make it too hot.
And then, so I'm a little embarrassed to say I've been in Jamaica for 2.5 weeks, and I had my first. It was a tasty patty, right? There's juicy patties and tasty patties, and there's a whole controversy around that. We'll get into in our video about what to do in Jamaica. We don't need to go into that because it's warring camps here in Jamaica about which one's better. But anyway, we had tasty patties too, right? So tasty patties are like, think of it like an empanada, but like next level empanada. It's so good and like so kind of juicy and tasty and got a bit of spice in it as well. And you can get those with meat or vegetarian. And you had a vegetarian one, right? So that's
you
another
can have the
Jamaican
vegetarian
specialty.
one without cheese. You can just have plain vegetarian. I think sometimes they have the tofu type, you know. But yeah, they have the beef with cheese,
right?
You know that, and it's that crust,
and they're super cheap.
It,
they're like $1,
yeah,
buck or two.
yeah.
So you can have lunch for $1 too. It's
yeah,
really nice.
yeah.
We stopped at on the street, and this vendor was selling porridge that was like, it was peanuts but with like cinnamon and
a cornmeal.
Yeah, cornmeal. Made from cornmeal. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's blended with peanuts, cinnamon, nutmeg.
It was so good. It was like we had it after
vanilla.
We had it after the tasty patties. It was almost like dessert, but I was like, man, this would have been so good.
Yeah.
With a coffee in the morning, it was really beautiful, and it like with the spices and stuff, it's so nice.
It's our cereal instead of eating cornflakes or stuff like that in the morning. That was a cornmeal porridge. We also make porridge, as you say, from oats.
Yeah, like Bob sings about.
Yeah, the oats porridge. We make porridge from green bananas.
Right. Oh, nice. That sounds wonderful.
And with the same spice of the cinnamon and stuff. But
and
it was great, and it was making a soup also.
Yeah, and it was like less than $1.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
Yeah.
So there's some really great food here.
Yeah, one cup of that.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah, and
like if you have another cup up, if you're a heavy eater.
Yeah.
And that would make you drink a lot of water.
Right.
You would not be hungry again until lunch.
Okay.
Then you have one patty.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like $2 now.
Yeah.
So you can do Jamaica nicely.
Yeah, $5. Sure. $5 would see you straight to dinner.
All right. A little red stripe here and there. We're good
yeah.
To go. And then maybe like the last thing the last food that I think about like being kind of quintessentially Jamaican is goat curry. Right, so that's another like specialty, and it's right. And I was like, I wasn't expecting curry here in Jamaica.
Yeah, we use a lot of curry. We make curry chicken.
Yeah,
the curried goat. There's some things that I don't think maybe your viewers would consider eating some of these things. Like the turkey neck, the neck of the turkey, the neck of the chicken, the feet of the chicken. I went to South Africa and they made the chicken feet with the nails on it, and I couldn't eat it.
Yeah.
But here in Jamaica, we make the chicken feet a different way. We would take the nails out. We would cut it up. We would make it look like hands.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I was in China for 17 years, and I avoided chicken feet the whole time. I am not starting now.
That soup you saw today was a chicken foot soup.
Oh, maybe instinctively I knew I should skip that.
So. When you come back and stay here a little longer, you'll be saying, "Oh my God, I had chicken foot soup. It's one of the nicest things."
All right, so here's an email. Enough about food. This will all be in our "What to Do in Jamaica" video, and we will go into detail around like whether like Montego Bay versus Negril versus Port Antonio versus Ocho Rios, and still trying to figure out if I'm going to make it to Kingston or not. But that's a maybe.
Remember, viewers, watch Don's videos, man. He got some great shots.
I did pay him to say that.
That's me. That's just me doing that, Don.
I appreciate that. That's very nice. All right, so here's a little bit of a, I don't know if it's touchy, but an emailed question. So a gay friend of mine took a cruise a few years back, and they stopped in Jamaica. He said it's very unfriendly to gay folks.
Yeah.
Is that true? All right. So we've talked about this a bit. I am of that persuasion. He likes me anyway. But I'm not here with my husband. So people like, and I was actually here with my daughter. My 18-year-old daughter was with me for my first week in Jamaica. So everyone thinks I'm straight. And I didn't feel like, but that's not relevant because no one thought I was gay. So I have to say, like almost all the resorts I've been at, I've seen very few gay people. I did see there was a gay couple at Goldeneye, and they were fine. And it's like, so my sense is like once you're inside a resort, it's not a thing. But
it's going out, especially.
But it's not
in the
like
local areas.
Super accepted. Like being gay is not super accepted in Jamaica, right?
Yeah, I would say our culture in Jamaica. Jamaica would consider to be a very homophobic place because of how we grew up in our culture. But we have known we have always known that that in Jamaica the acceptance of gay was on a level that they stay where they are, we stay where, you know,
Right.
everybody do their own thing.
Yeah.
But I would say that if gay couples or so coming to Jamaica, you have to be discreet.
Yeah.
And not, I mean, once you're in the hotels,
Yeah.
it's understandable.
Yeah.
You know, the staff and
Yeah.
so you'll be pretty cool. But once you go out to go local,
yeah,
you know, then that's where you could encounter some sort of hostility.
right. So I mean, your advice to me. Let me see if I can summarize it correctly. It was just like, if you're gay and you want to come to Jamaica, it's totally cool. You're gonna be absolutely fine. You know, stay like any of the resorts we recommend. I can't guarantee you, but I couldn't tell. Very confident there's gonna be zero issues. And like, if you're gonna go outside, just practice some discretion. Like maybe no kissing and holding hands in public. And I think it's like kind of sucks that you got to do that, but it's not a big deal. It's, you know, so if you want to make sure you're super safe. And my guess is if you even went out in public and held hands, that you'd be fine. But why take the risk?
Yeah, I always advise Don that because of hostility against gays, especially in Jamaica, because I think
you're not talking about gay tours. You're talking about just kind of like Jamaicans.
We have never, because the people are not used to that. They have never seen that.
Sure.
Especially with two guys, they would see two girls holding hands and take it for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, but with two guys, I think in the hotel inside the walls, it could be, but please just be discreet when you go out.
Yeah.
And just consider some form of reservations.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so there you have it. We're running out of time. I'm trying to scroll through and see like what haven't we answered that might be helpful to folks. There's a question about what's the best budget-friendly hotel in Jamaica. We at the Swank Guide are always looking for kind of hidden gems that are affordable, and we've found at least two. So there will be videos coming on that, but I will keep you in suspense. And there was a question about like, are there any eco-friendly things or places are there any eco-friendly things to do or places to stay in Jamaica? And I might have a couple answers for that. Does anything spring to mind?
Yeah, I mean, eco-friendly things to do, like hiking in a place like called the Cockpit Country or the Blue Mountains, or going on a retreat like you went on at the Good Hope Estate, and stuff like that. So I think there are things to do here that is, you know, for the environment, to learn about the environment. And you know, the Cockpit Country is a very nice place to go to learn about the flora and the fauna and the endemic species, and to be in a area of untouched forests.
I'm glad you bring that up, because I think people think of Jamaica and they think beach. And they forget there's actually beautiful mountains here too, and you know, inland. And I was lucky enough to spend 5 days at the Michael just made a reference to some place called Good Hope, which is an old sugar plantation. It's so beautiful, and it's such kind of a restful place. But that's up in the mountains. You live in Cockpit Country, which is another kind of, which is right next door to that. More mountains. So you know a lot about hiking. We're going to cover that in our What to Do in Jamaica video. We're going to give you guys some tips on like good places to hike. But there's definitely good hiking in Jamaica.
Definitely.
Really good hiking in Jamaica. And I know because I've done some. And the only other thing I would, like one of the most special experiences I've had so far here is when I was down in Port Antonio, which is kind of in the more remote, kind of less touristy part of the island. I took a kind of a bamboo raft tour for like 2.5 hours on the river, and that was super beautiful. So we started kind of up in the hills, and then we ended up on the ocean. But beautiful, peaceful, and we're going to cover that in one of our videos as well. So definitely lots.
That was a Rio Grande, isn't it? That you in Port. It was in Port Antonio.
It was outside of Port Antonio. It's called close to Gijam. Gijam.
I think it's the Rio Grande.
That sounds correct to me. But there's a few rivers.
Big river, Rio Grande.
Right.
Spaniards left that with us, folks.
We didn't even have time to go into Jamaican history.
It's an awesome story. You know, just Dan cannot give you everything. I think if you fall in love with Jamaica, just go read some of the books and go online and get some information, you know, and not just, as we say, and that would still help you about safety and, you know, understanding the whole history of Jamaica. It's very vibrant history, very vibrant story.
Yeah. So, but don't be afraid to come to Jamaica.
Oh no,
it's as beautiful as people say.
Oh my,
the people couldn't be any warmer or nicer, and it doesn't mean no one's going to hassle you. I'm not saying no one's ever going to hassle you. The people are going to hassle you. There's bad people everywhere. I'm not saying there's no bad people in Jamaica. There's lots of really fantastic, nice folks here, and I think they're so open and so kind of fun-loving. And
people come at you, say no, thank you, and go your way.
Yeah, and it's a
if you don't need anything.
It's a special culture. This is not my first Caribbean country, but I think maybe the most interesting culture I've encountered in the Caribbean. So
thank you.
Fantastic place to come. So highly recommend.
I didn't pay you to say that.
All right, guys, we are out of time because we budgeted a half hour for this. So thank you all for tuning in. Michael, so grateful that you have been on this journey with me for the last couple of weeks, and I'm really glad to count you as a friend.
Man, it's been a great vibe, Dan, and I count you as a friend. Welcome, you know, anytime to Jamaica. And you know, from my perspective as a Jamaican, I thank you for what you're trying to do also in promoting, you know, the good side of Jamaica. And there's just the fun side, and you know, to have other diverse audience seeing what is in Jamaica and coming to Jamaica. You know, come to Jamaica, man. No problem, man. It's great, you know. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you guys for joining, and yeah, see you later.
No.